dudes, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and today we are here with, yes, you are reading that right, Good Burger 2. If you didn't know, yeah, this just released. I'm recording it the day of release, Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving here in America as well. And this has been so long in the making. It's been 26 years in the making. 1997 is when the first movie came out. This was actually a spin-off from All That, the sketch comedy show on Nickelodeon. It stars Kenan and Kel, who also had their own show. Kenan Thompson, Kel Mitchell. And is basically about a couple of fast food workers getting in zany situations. Kenan plays Dex, a more intelligent straight man who is getting into these wacky situations as well, but plays it more as like he's being troubled by them. And in a lot of cases in the first movie he was. While Kel Mitchell plays Ed, the worker at Good Burger, who befriends Dex, and while not being smart pretty much at all, is actually surprisingly innovative. He creates the Good Burger sauce that ends up elevating their restaurant to new heights. And on top of that, is just a genuinely good person. He's just super nice and kind and friendly. He just likes to be a dude with everyone, you know? I grew up with the movie. I grew up with the first Good Burger. I grew up with All That. I have watched the first movie probably a few dozen times, if I'm being honest. It's something that I have a very special place in my heart for. This movie kind of means a bit to me, because I've talked before how growing up there was a lot that I dealt with in terms of my mental health. And movies like this were an extreme comfort to me. Like, I'm not even kidding you. This movie is an extremely strong comfort movie for me. The first one. And it makes me feel like warm, if that makes any sense. I just feel like warm and happy, even just thinking about it. And so, 26 years later, Kenan and Kel are back for the sequel. And a couple of the other actors are back too. Obviously, some of them aren't. Some of them have passed away, like Abe Vigoda, and some of them just didn't return. But it's going to be really cool to see this, and hopefully, and I have very high hopes for this, it captures the magic of the original. Because was the original movie stupid? Oh, absolutely. But that's part of its charm. It was so stupid, it was funny. It's a comedy, and it's a comedy that, let's be honest, was made for children. Though the movie actually did have a few more adult jokes and stuff in there for the parents and stuff who would watch with them, and any adults who would watch. There were some surprisingly adult things in that movie. And I'm very interested to see what direction they take with the story this time. Plus, the first one had a couple celebrity cameos in it, like Shaq. So I wonder if they're going to have anyone like that in this one, too. And, of course, you have to mention the soundtrack. It's like, the soundtrack for the original was so good. I still listen to the main theme all the time. And I hope it's going to be in this one. This movie when I first heard that it was even happening, it's just like this big blanket was placed over me. This big comforting blanket. And it's just like I felt at home. Like I said, this movie is a huge comfort movie for me. It means a lot, and it helps. It helps currently, and has helped in the past, with a lot of my emotions during some pretty dark points in my life. So if this sequel, all this time later, can nail this, if it can really make me, if it can bring me back to that comfort, then I will be the happiest girl in the world. Um, so let's just get into this and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and did I say that weird? Sounded like I said redirect. Anyway, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything for that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. Or to the movie, rather. I've been recording some episode stuff today as well, of course. But all of that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here. Yeah, I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah, I'll just say right off the bat, I think this wasn't as good as the original, but it's hard to really capture that kind of 90s cheesy magic again. I didn't expect it to be quite the same in terms of its comedy and style and everything. I didn't expect it to be on the same level. But I went into this just hoping that it would bring back those feelings that the original movie always gave to me, those comforting, happy, just fun feelings, and that it would entertain me all the way through. And it did. It very much lived up to my hopes and expectations. While it couldn't quite capture the same kind of 90s humor and cheese and goofiness as the original, a lot about it still felt very much the same. There was a lot of the humor that worked as a more modern version of this. A lot of the character work was just as good. Like Ed and Dex were Ed and Dex. Fizz, all the characters who returned were pretty much exactly the same. With maybe the exception of Roxanne, who I guess is a nun now, she said. But I mean, hey, that was kind of the joke. That was kind of the point. They even brought it back to the first film with the villain being the sister of the villain from the original. There were obviously a lot of cast members that weren't brought back, a lot of cast members that they didn't get to return, who it would have been great to see again. But they buffered that with a lot of new cast members who I think were great. I liked these new characters. I think they were fun. I think they were likable. They were funny. And they had a lot of great scenes and great moments. There were, just like in the first movie, there were celebrity cameos, though a lot more this time. And I think they were well done. Like celebrity cameos in a movie can be overdone sometimes, but in a comedy movie like this, that's just meant to be kind of ridiculous and silly, the way they handled them worked. Like Young Gravy just randomly DJing the celebration and everything. You have the celebrity sad song video thing collaboration. You know the shit that's parodying. Um, and they did like a shot where it's like they go with this celebrity who's singing on stage and everything. That was clearly a parallel to the Shaq scene from the original. There's a lot of fun little nods and everything. Not everything was brought back. Like um, the grinder line, for example, just didn't make it in. Unfortunately, it does suck. It really does, but not everything could be brought back. They have to differentiate it still. Um, there are a lot of fun little cameo appearances too, like Liza Koshy working in the control room. I don't know why my mind went on that. Or Leslie Wilson, or Leslie Wilson, you know who I mean, portraying Dex's sister. I always second guess myself with names a lot. A lot of times I get them wrong, or just forget. And apparently Sinbad having a cameo, and Ron Funches was the security guard. I didn't see Sinbad's cameo. I'm gonna have to, or hear it, I guess. He was a voice. I'm gonna have to check for that again and everything. It said the voice of the business manager. I'm not sure. But yeah, a lot of fun little things in here that really made it feel like a proper sequel. And now the timeline thing, I want to mention that because I was kind of confused there for a little bit early on. What Ed was saying is that it had been like 5 years and so many months and so on and so on since they last saw each other. But that was not when the first movie took place. As was mentioned by Flula Borg's food dude character, it took place, the first movie's events took place 20 years ago. And basically in line with, mostly in line with the timeline of in real life. It's just been over 5 years since Ed and Dex have seen each other. Which makes more sense when you think about it because of the entire Ed having a shit ton of kids, some of which were played by his actual kids. It's weird to think about, but apparently Ed got his fuck on. And it's like, it is the weirdest thing to think about because he's probably like Goku from Dragon Ball and doesn't even know what sex is. And yet somehow had all these kids. And it's just like, all right, sure, that's a thing that occurred. And then his one son is literally named Ed 2 because he's basically just a clone of Ed. And that actor, whoever that actor was, let me see if I can find it real quick in the credits here. I have it muted, obviously, for copyright reasons, but Leslie Jones is who I was talking about before. Let's see. Yeah, we know Pete Davidson was in there. Where's Ed 2? Alex R. Hibbert, amazing job at copying Ed's mannerisms and voice and everything. Did a fantastic job. But yeah, apparently Pickles and Mustard were both Kel Mitchell's actual children, Honor Mitchell and Wisdom Mitchell. But the others, like Ketchup, Onion, No Mayo, Bun Bun, like they were all just other young actors, which is, fair. Edie, Ed's wife, was Ego, I apologize if I mispronounce this, Ego Nwodim. Edie, I don't think was in the first movie, so just a new character, basically. And yeah, Lori Beth Denberg was Connie Muldoon. She was the one who came in and gave the ridiculous order, had that very funny way of speaking. She was in the original movie, she was from all that. So it's really fun to see that she was back in this. Um, like I said, a lot of great cast members here, just some really fun names, some characters from the first one. The actual plot of like this dog might start barking. Just letting you know. Actual plot of this centering around this mega corporation buying Good Burger to turn it into an automated worldwide franchise is a funny concept. And the entire idea of automating it with machines instead of having human workers, it's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. I get the joke. They even hammer it in at the end because, of course, that's the joke in and of itself. Just really hammering it in at the end. Going on about, like, fast food will never be fully replaced by robots because you can't copy the efficiency of real workers. And it's like, okay. And I believe that. I believe that. I believe that while there might be some accommodations made, I don't believe fast food employees or most things like that will, at least any time in our lifetimes or close beyond, I don't think they will ever be fully replaced by robots or machines or whatnot. If that kind of thing does happen, it's a long way away because there's just too many issues that could arise from that. You have to have some level of human work that just makes it, work. It's not really possible to do full automation on a grand scale like that. But yeah, this was a really, really fun movie. Um, Again, I love a lot of the shenanigans, a lot of the things. But that one thing they did to trick the control room employees with the dangerous chemicals and using the twins to switch places to pretend like the face was melting, that was genuinely really funny and genius. It's like that was such a genuinely good concept as a joke. It just worked so well. Um, and there was a lot of other stuff like that. And a lot of shocking moments too, like surprising stuff. Like not so much like the entire everything going wrong because Dex makes a selfish mistake. That was expected. I'm talking more like the Burger Mobile getting destroyed at first. It's like that one actually caught me a little off guard. It's like, oh, you're actually gonna go there? Okay. Um, I also want to note, I think the Good Burger, the restaurant itself, looked different. And mind you, even in universe, it's been 20 years. So that's not really that abnormal to think that the restaurant would have changed a bit. The idea that it's gone under renovations and updated the just general architecture and stuff of the building actually makes a lot of sense. Um, some people I feel are going to say that this movie tried to copy the original in a few ways, such as having the elderly character who was secretly very fun but is kind of a curmudgeon at first. I feel like a lot of people are going to say that Ruth was just a new version of Abe Vigoda's character from the original, and it's like I can see what that argument would be, but I think she differentiated herself enough. I think all the characters really did who weren't in the original and everything. Um, it's it's a movie that captures the nostalgia of the original really well while modernizing it, and I think that's what it needed to be. I think kids are gonna watch this and are gonna have an absolute blast people who remember and really enjoy the original movie and all that are going to have fun with this. It's going to tickle that funny bone in just the right way, and you're going to enjoy it. People who weren't really into the original, it's not for them. It's not going to be for them. Some might enjoy it, but a lot of them might not. If you really couldn't get into the original, if you weren't into that kind of humor, then you probably won't enjoy this one. But if the original holds a soft place in your heart like it does for me, then this movie is definitely going to work for you. That's my view on it. I think it's a really great movie. I think this isn't quite as good as the original, but still lives up to its memory and its humor. And the original still exists, so we'll always have that anyway. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Good Burger 2? Let me know your thoughts down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.